So before we commence this talk, let's practice few minutes of the grounding technique. Okay, you can sit comfortably. Find a very comfortable posture that will allow you to ground your body and mind. And if you feel comfortable, you can close your eyes. So once you close your eyes, please listen to the sounds of the singing bowl. Let's take a moment to do the quick body scanning. So I invite you to bring your entire attention to your top of your head and make a pause there. When you make a pause, you stop thinking of any other thing, external thing. Bring your entire attention toward the sensation on your top of your head. And just observe what are the sensations you experience at that moment, at the right moment, on top of your head. And passing down to the back of your head, is there any sensation, any feeling, physical feeling there? If have not any feeling, do not create any feeling. Just observe as it is. And passing down to your forehead and observe the sensation. And bring your attention to your eyebrow, eyes, and ears, your right ear and your left ear. Any sensation, outer and inner ears, and the nose and tip of your nose, any sensation there when you breathe in and breathe out. And upper lips, lower lips, and cheeks, and entire face. Is there any sensation? And slowly moving down to your throat and entire neck. Do nothing, just observe the sensation. And the shoulders, the both left and right. Do you feel any sensation, any pain, any itchiness there? Or you feel very comfortable? Just observe the sensation. And shoulder bowl, arms, elbows, and lower arms, palms and fingers. How do you feel? What are the feelings on your fingers? And again bring your attention to a chest, upper and lower part of your chest. How do you feel? What are the sensations when you are breathing and breathing out? And abdomen, move down to abdomen and lower part of abdomen. And pay your attention to the back, upper back, and slowly move down, middle and lower back, and entire back. Any sensation. And move down. What are the sensations in between your cushion and leg? How do you feel? Any tightness there, warm or cool? Heat, any sensation? And move down to knee. Slowly, slowly, gradually move down to the lower part of your legs. And feet. How do you feel now when your feet touch the floor? If you are touching the floor. And toes. Just observe. And again gradually moving on from tip of the toes and lower part of your legs, knees, thigh, and lower part of your abdomen, and observe the sensation when you are breathing and breathing out. And stay there for a while. Now I invite you to listen to the sound of the singing bowl, just searching end of the sound. So when you are ready, you can open your eyes. So very good evening, dear Venerable and dear nuns and all of dear meritorious friends in Dhamma. So what we have practiced just before is called the kind of the grounding technique, which later I will explain. When we handle criticism, we have to practice kind of the technique to build our mindfulness. So today's topic, how to handle criticism. I think it is very, how to say that, the good topic to talk about, especially these 2 days, as the social media play the very great role in our lives, right? So there are people feel that they are criticized They feel that they are criticized. So we are become part of we become a very public figure. It's because of the social media. So then the opinion, the comment in social media, something that we cannot simply deny. So it's become a kind of the very crucial role in our day-to-day life. And also, we have all encountered situation where we have been criticized, right? Is there anybody there who have never been criticized by somebody? Or if you ask someone in other way, have we ever criticized somebody or something? Both the answer for the both question, probably yes, right? So we all know that the pain, it can be, right? The pain when we have been criticized. So how it painful. And another very important thing, we human as a social being, the community is a very important thing. When you are in the community, we are always receiving other people's opinion, either good or bad. So it is also play a very important role. So I think it is very important to know how to face criticism properly and skillfully. Today, this evening, I'm going to share some Buddhist insight on how to face criticism skillfully and properly and successfully. And then which may give you kind of the different lens when you are facing criticism. So let's begin to see what are the Buddhist teachings that we can implement to handle the criticism. This one probably. Yeah. So what is criticism? We all know that the definition is given here. Criticism is an act of pointing out the inadequacies or fault in a person or thing. The expressions of disapproval of someone or something on the basis of the perceived fault or mistake. It's simply that criticism is something negative regarding about ourselves, not actually ourselves, our actions, maybe our words, our feeling and our thought. So first thing, we should remember it is something inevitable. Buddha himself was criticized. And all the other religious figures, famous religious speakers, have been criticized. Jesus Christ have been criticized. How about the others? Any famous figure here? Okay. So how about our late Chief Bhante? Do you think he has not been criticized? Criticized, right? Even Buddha was criticized, then nothing to talk about others. Right? The Gandhi in India, he was criticized. So their criticism is something inevitable. Buddha says that, very nice stanza teaching we found in the Dhamma Pada. Porana metang atula netam ajjatanamiva nindhanti tunni masinam nindhanti bhaubhaninam mitabhanimpi nindhanti natti loke anindito. This is Asian wisdom. Atula is the name of the devotee who approached three venerables. One venerable is called Revata. When he approached him, he keep quiet. He doesn't speak. Then he approached another venerable, Venerable Sariputta. He speak in length always, normally. He give a lot of details, give a lot of commentaries on the teaching. And then he approached Ananda, Venerable Ananda, the Buddha's the attendant, and he speak moderately. That Atula was so upset about it. He was not happy. And he then approached the Buddha and complained about it. Then Buddha answers is here. This is Asian wisdom, Atula. There is not something modern. They blame the one who sits silently. When he approach us and ask question, ask something, if he keep quiet, if he don't know, definitely he will criticize. And they blame the one who talks a lot. If someone quite talkative, then we still people blame. And they blame the one who talks in moderation, in the middle path. In fact, still blame. So, Atula, there is no one in the world not blame. So how beautiful it is, right? Natti loke anindito. Everyone has been criticized. Nobody in the world. So, this is the first teaching we will remember, right? When we encounter criticism, what we have to remember, it is something very general. Everyone has been criticized. Everyone received criticism. Everyone has been accused. So everyone receiving the people's different opinions. We cannot control the people's opinion. So everyone is receiving that one. So we should remember this first. So when we face criticism, accusation, so these are the teaching. Later on I am going to explain how to apply to ourselves when we deal with the criticism. First one, force and reflect. Second one, disappear yourself physically. And third one, detach mentally, be kind and compassionate, and be honest. Let's see. So first one, force and reflect. So our habitual pattern towards the criticism or accusation is fight back, right? We criticize back, we insult back. So Buddha says that when we criticize back, or when we practice defensiveness, or when we practice, when we try to justify ourselves, it creates a problem. And it continues the problem. That person who criticizes us continue criticizing. Because we give the flu, right? He's keep criticizing us. So Buddha says that when you fight back, we create the cycle of suffering. The Buddha recognized that suffering state of mind leads to action, and that bring about more suffering. For example, when someone criticizes us, so we receive it and we criticize back. It means that we are continue that argument. So what happened then? To continue that when we defensive, our mental state is the positive or negative? Negative, right? We get angry. We criticize back with angry feeling. So anger is there. When anger is there, when hatred is there, when jealousy is there, when anxiety is there, what happened to our mind state? Our mind is sick, right? The sick mind, we have it. So whatever we do with the sick mind, what is the result, outcome? Is a productive? Still negative, right? So that is why we create the cycle of suffering. So Buddha says that don't criticize back. What we have to do, pause. What is pause? Stop. Stop for a moment. Why should we stop? only when we stop, only when we pause, it creates a gap between our feeling and response. So force allows you to create a gap between feelings and reaction. Then we do not immediately react to other person's criticism, whether it's true or false. Observe ourselves, what's going on within us. So when we are in a situation where we are hurt, it is important to take a deep breath and observe your physical sensation. So that is something I always do. So I observe my physical sensation. Because emotion doesn't have any physical form, right? When you are angry, how do you know that you are angry? Is there any way you can know that you are angry? No physical form, right? So we have to attend to our physical sensation. When you are angry, you feel that if you are observant closely, if you attend to your physical sensation, you feel that what's going on in your physical sense, your body. Your heartbeat, the pattern is changed, maybe become faster, and you feel a little bit the warm on your body. And many other things you can observe. So then force allow you to observe your physical sensation. And you do not then immediately react. Take example, let's suppose that someone call you, how to say the loser? Is a criticism? It's hurt when someone call us loser? Hurt, right? So when someone call us a loser, we do take it, we do offend it, right? And we feel very upset about it. And perhaps we feel angry about it. And maybe we just feel sad about it. So, but where does that feeling arising from? Are you willing to explore it and find out it? Where is this feeling arising? Normally we don't do, right? We immediately react. But Buddha says that in such situation, you take a moment and observe your feeling. What's going on? It could be, it could come from your own insecurities, your own sense of inadequacies, right? Maybe you have already that tendency, underlying tendency. You feel you are loser before even say it out, right? So you have that idea, maybe. So Buddha says that you reflect yourself. So when you reflect, you will come to know that where is that feeling arising. You will have the clear picture. So you do not then immediately react to the other person's criticism, the accusation, and other people's opinion. That's a very beautiful sutta. We found it, the Nikaya. It's called Loka Vipatti Sutta. It's a metaphor of wind. What is the very nature of the metaphor of wind? The wind is blowing all over, right? There's no boundaries that blow on over, everywhere. And another thing that the very nature of the wind, as other weather conditions, is always changing. Buddha says that people who do not know how to deal with their mind are moved around by the winds of the world. But those who see them as they are, always changing and unimportant, can let them go. So our feelings are also same. We do not give weight to them. Rather, we observe them. So pause allow you to reflect. Pause allow you to create a gap between the feeling and response. And also, most importantly, the pause allow you to reflect. So, though you feel angry initially, of course, when you receive the criticism, when someone criticizes us, when someone blames us, accuses us, we feel angry. That's very normal. So, but you can take a space between the feeling and response by making a pause. So, pause is very important. How do you practice pause? When you are learning the spiritual formation in my Buddhist counseling class, so we are trained to create our own spiritual oasis. Oasis, the paradise. So we Buddhists, we should have kind of the spiritual oasis. We very often, we emotionally hurt, right? When you are dealing with the society, when in the workplace, or even in the temple ground, anywhere, when you're at home, when you are in the friends, we very often, we feel hurt, emotionally hurt. So then, what to do then? Is there any place that we can rest when we are emotionally hurt? So we need to build kind of the spiritual oasis within us. There are so many ways that we can build that spiritual oasis. For example, those who practice meditation, any type of meditation, it can be your spiritual oasis. When you are emotionally hurt, you always go back and stay there for a while. Before you react to immediately react to any situation. So I know that those who practice the Mahayana Buddhism, they practice the Nyampo, right? Nyampo is the Namo Amitopo Amitopo, kind of the recollection of the Buddha, the chanting. So it could be your spiritual oasis. When you are emotionally hurt, when you are angry, when you are agitated, when you are anxious, so you just practice before you react. You can say something, you can recite Namo Amitopo a few times. Or you can take the deep breath. Deep and slow, few breaths you can take it. It could be your spiritual oasis. Any kind of spiritual practice will become a spiritual oasis when you continue practice. If you practice today, then if you leave it, and when you practice after a few days, it cannot be a spiritual oasis. Huh? So we have to keep practicing it. When you keep practicing it, when you encounter such difficult situation, then immediately we recognize it. And immediately we go back to our spiritual oasis, we'll rest there. That's what, I keep practicing the physical sensation. This is my main meditation object. So whenever I have this kind of the negative emotions, when you are emotionally hurt, no matter I'm a monk, right? Still I feel hurt. Yeah. So when you are and when you feel the little bit, how to say the anxiety, so then I feel it immediately. I feel it because I'm more aware about my physical sensation. Then I immediately recognize something going on there. Then I observe it. I do not react. Sometimes I react. Mostly I observe myself. I know that. So we Buddhists by practice. So as a Buddhist, we should cultivate kind of the spiritual oasis to handle whenever we encounter difficult situation. Another sutta in the Anguttara Nikaya, so we practice mindfulness to handle our criticism. Its Sutta Buddha says that just as the royal frontier fortress had the gatekeeper who keep out those who don't know and let in those who does, for the protection of those who within and to ward off those who without. So we have to be like a gatekeeper. Gatekeeper doesn't allow to enter those who he doesn't know. And he always protect those who in. So we have to be our own gatekeeper to protect what? Protect our own mind. When you face criticism, Then when we are be mindful, when we are aware of ourselves, we do not allow that criticism to affect ourselves. We protect ourselves. So our awareness, our mindfulness become a safeguard. Then we are not mentally hurt. And we have a clear mind. So with that clear mind, facilitate to handle that situation wisely, skillfully. So abandon with mindfulness as his gatekeeper, the disciple abandon what is unskillful. So anger we recognize as a skillful or unskillful. Anger is unskillful, right? So jealousy, agitation, or any kind of all the emotions, they are unskillful. So recognize, when you are mindful, we can recognize them and unskillful, and we can abandon them. So, and then develop the blamelessness. So force allow you to reflect when you are criticized, when you have been criticized, and also force allow you to reflect, because we create a gap between our the emotional feeling and the reaction, response to the criticism. So another very beautiful practice Buddha recognizes us, Buddha instructs us, as for especially for the monastic, the Paccavekkhana, self-reflection. As a monastic, we do every day. When we find the time, is in the evening, before the bed, we take time and reflect what happened throughout the day. Is there any impurities in my mind? Is there any blameworthiness have I done verbally, mentally, and physically? We do keep reflecting ourselves. The self-reflection is a very important practice. Even though Buddha recognize this teaching to monks particularly, and for lay people, as then you can apply yourself. So at the end of the every day, find a quiet place at your home. You can switch off your mobile phone and everything, and take time. Take 5 minutes to reflect yourself. What's happened throughout the day? In the mornings, there any situation, any place, you get angry, you feel hurt, or you have the jealousy. What happened during the break time, lunch time? And what happened during the work? What happened when you are driving? When someone crosses your way, you get angry and you scold him, even though you didn't scold him verbally. You sometimes you scold it mentally, right? You blame that person. So what happened then? So go one by one. So it becomes a habit. When you practice as a habit, it will bring you a very good result, very productive result. So whenever you encounter difficult situation, that practice will automatically come forward and help you to how to handle that difficult situation. So this is something that the first teaching we found to help us to handle the criticism, the accusation. Pause and reflect. Second one is move yourself physically. This one you cannot apply in any situation. Okay. So if you are working at the office, so if you make some mistake and your boss approach and start to criticize, you cannot just stand and go away, right? You will probably you get more trouble, right? So, but there are some situations actually you can apply that one. So you can detach yourself physically, then you will no longer hear their criticism. So some situation, if someone starts criticizing you, you just can simply move. You can go away and you can go for a short walk. Right? It doesn't mean that there are places where there are people do not criticize you. Wherever you go, you find people who find a way to criticize you. Okay? So that is something we mentioned at the very beginning. Another sutta we call the Sundari Sutta. I think this is one of the very famous sutta where Buddha was very critically, badly was criticized by the other followers, Brahmins. So when Buddhism was spread in the India and popularly, the other religious followers and leaders lose the privilege, the benefits. More and more people approached the Buddha, came to Buddha, and they love Buddhism. So then other religious followers lost their, alms giving and other requisite. So they start jealousy about it. They start jealousy and they start hating the Buddhism and Buddha, particularly Buddha and his disciple. So they were thinking to how to create problem in the Buddhism and get the other people attention, love, and the devotion and support for them again. So then there's a wandering ascetic called the Paribrajaka. Paribrajaka means wandering monk. It's a kind of the ascetic practice, monastic practice during the India, those who are wandering. So that Sundari, the Brahmin approached the Sundari and asked a favor. So if you can help, I can help for your relatives. The Sundari says that, then if you can help me, I can do anything for you. So what then Sundari was asked, you go to the Jetavana where the Buddha was dwelling, Buddha was residing. So when people go in the evening to listen to Dhamma, you go in the evening, and when people are coming back, you stay there. Make sure that people notice that you go to temple and you stay there. And in the morning, when people again you come to temple, you just leave the temple. Make sure that people notice that you are leaving the temple in the early morning. So that Sundari did it many times, then people notice it. So then what Brahmin did, that Sundari was killed and hide nearby the monastery and complained the king. I went to the King Kosala and complained about it. And King Kosala asked, is there any suspect? Yes. People have seen that Sundaris quite often go to the monastery where the Buddha and disciples live there. We suspect that Buddha and his disciple. And they themselves go there and pull out the body where they hide. And they start criticizing. They start accusing the monks and Buddha. They went to the street by street and junction by junction and criticize. See the monks you support. See the Buddha, the Sakyan's disciple you support. They killed the innocent woman and greatly accused. Then King Kosala is a very good friend of Buddha. But Buddha didn't ask his favor. What Buddha did, he remained silent. He didn't engage in physically this matter. Buddha says that, leave it behind. It will be disappear when people understand the truth. So after several days, the truth will reveal. The people came to know that who did this one. So Buddha didn't physically engage. So when we are criticized, we don't always have to physically be there. We don't have to be physically engaged in such situation. We can just leave it, physically detached. We can remove ourselves. But normally, we don't do it. If someone, even though we are not there, when someone criticizes us, if we came to know somebody say something bad behind you, we approach the other person, what did he say? That's our nature, right? We love to listen to those criticisms as well. So, right? That's our very nature. So Buddha says that no, that if you do such thing, you definitely you are in the suffering circle. So detach yourself, detach physically. And what say then again? Keep your eyes on your own intention and work. That's the most important thing. What other people say behind your back is not important. What is your intention and what's your work is the most important thing. So keep an eye on it. So because why? We cannot control other people. We cannot control other people's opinion. They are always ready to say something. Whatever we do, whatever we say, they always have some opinion. So keep, how to say that, mind on your own business. So keep attention to your own intention, whether it is the wholesome or unwholesome, whether the work or word you say, your verbal and physical action is a pure or unpure, it's a wholesome or unwholesome. So that's the important thing. And mentally detach. Quite often, actually most generally and commonly, when someone says something about us, about our view, about our intelligence, about our action, about our achievement, something bad, right? So we're talking about criticism, something bad about our emotion, about our view, our ideas, our achievement, our career, our action, we often hurt. Why? Because we identify those things as us. We identify our looks as us. We identify our views as us. And you identify your actions as you. And you identify your intelligence, your achievement as you. But it is not true actually. We humans are the complex entities of different mental states and physical structure. What's the very nature of that, the different mental states and physical structure? It's impermanence. It's constantly changing from moment to moment. So Buddha says that don't identify. Don't identify your external world and internal emotional world as feeling as you. What happens when you identify? When you identify, when you take those things as personal, when you are criticized, then we feel hurt. We get angry. We are agitated. The mental agony and all the negative emotions are there and feelings are there. Then we start create the same issue, same problem. Buddha says that don't identify yourself. For what they are seeing in you is a reflection of their own very self. They are not really criticizing yourself. They are reflecting their self actually. And you don't have, what you don't have in you, you can't see in others, right? We always see that what we have, what we perceive in others. If you don't have some qualities or something, we can't see it others. So people is always reflecting themselves. So we don't have to identify their views as us. So when only detached mentally, we are in a position to ask question for clarity. If we are mentally involved in, when we take all this criticism or insult or accusation or any other people's opinion, take it as a very personal, our mind is not the positive situation to clear situation to reflect or ask about it. So Buddha says that, so it is maintain the clear and clarity mind, so that we can ask the question about the further clarification. So Brahmajala Sutta, Buddha gave us example for that one. Monks, if others criticize me, criticize the teaching, my doctrine, and criticize the Sangha, monastic, Buddha's disciple, don't make yourself resentful, bitter, and frustrated. If you get angry and upset, it would be an obstacle for you alone. If others were to criticize me, you got angry and upset, would you be able to understand whether they spoke well or true? See? If you are angry when you are criticized, when you are receiving other people's opinion, so we are not in a situation to understand ourselves, and we are not in a situation to understand whether that person is saying true or not. Buddha says that don't get angry. If others criticize me, my Dhamma, and my disciple, you should explain that what is untrue is in fact untrue. When others person criticism did not affect us, so then we are able to question about it, whether it's right or wrong, whether it's true or not. That is why that is true. Because of this reason, this is true. Because of that reason, this is false. There is no such thing in us. So we can explain ourselves. What you say is not true. We can express calmly only when we are not get angry. So Buddha says, don't get angry when you are receiving other people's criticism. Be calm first and take a pause and reflect, and then you observe. Then you can ask questions for yourself and others for more clarifications. So it is not found among us. So whatever you say is not true. So another beautiful discourse called the Vasala Sutta is another clear-cut example for detachment mentally when you are criticized. So when Buddha is approaching a far distance, the Brahmin called the Bharadwaja start criticizing. Stop there, bald-headed man, he said to the Buddha. And stop right there, fake ascetic. And stop right there, low life. Buddha was so calm. Buddha didn't react to him immediately, didn't respond to him with anger. He was so calm and went closer and asked calmly, compassionately, Brahmin, do you know what is low life? Janasi panatvam brahmana vasalam va vasala karanena va dhammi. Brahmana, do you know what is low life? What are the qualities that make you low life? So the anger of that Brahman immediately disappeared, because Buddha was not angry. So when someone criticizes us, accuses us, if he responds him calmly, he no longer was angry with us. Maybe his way of responding will be changed. So like Buddha, so when someone criticizes us, blame us, accuse us, insult us, do not get angry, do not take as a very personal thing, and maintain the calm and quietness and ask further clarification, ask question. Attachment is just like a monkey business. Do you know the story about how monkey was catch by using the trap, the banana? So in India, the farmers was having very difficult time. It's because of the monkeys. You know, monkey is very troublesome. I come in the farmer's family, so it's very troublesome. They destroy every plant and seed. So those farmers are very kind actually. They make different trap. So, but that trap hurt them. and hurt their fingers, sometimes legs, sometimes tail. So the farmers felt bad about it. So they were thinking any other compassionate way to catch the monkey. So one wise farmer found a way to catch the monkey. So they observed the monkeys, their behavior. And then he took the coconut and drilled a small hole so that the monkey can put his hand on. And then he put a banana inside and tied that coconut fruit to the tree. And what happened then? Monkey also watching it, and immediately they ran there and then smelled the banana, put the hand, and he catch the banana. So when he hold it banana, he cannot take out his hand, cannot put out his hand. So in this way, so that farmer could catch that monkey without hurting. So farmer know that it's a very good trap. We can catch monkey. So they make a lot of trap, and here and there, say they could catch all the monkeys and brought back to the nearby jungle and set them free. So the monkey was attached to that banana. They give value to that banana rather than his freedom. So same as, right? We so much attached to ourselves. So we give value to that attachment rather than our peace of mind, rather than our freedom, right? So sometimes we like the monkey. So Buddha says that, the story says that, don't be like a monkey. The attachment is the monkey business. So you detach yourself when you encounter difficult situation. So when you consciously detach, then that brings you peace and freedom. We can consciously practice that detachment actually. For example, when you want to consciously detach from something, for example, you want to quit the drinking tea. Coffee is difficult, I know. But tea okay, right? If you want to quit the tea, so you consciously stop drinking tea for a few weeks. Then you feel you no longer want to drink the tea. So when you consciously detach, then the detachment then automatically come. So whatever the insultant or criticism you receive, don't take it as personal. And love and compassion. Love and compassion is another very important thing. Love yourself and compassion to yourself and compassion to other person as well. When you receive criticism, when you observe, you pay attention, then you will discover that those who criticize you are full of their own insecurities. They are having some kind of difficult situation. They are having kind of the very tough situation. They are in a suffering situation. Maybe they might have a tough time, unfulfilling life, and that is why maybe the criticism is the only way that they have learned how to protect themselves, how to express themselves. So don't get angry. Just feel compassion, empathy. And another thing, if you are not kind to yourself, if you are not compassionate to yourself, so if you are angry, then it means that you are not kind to yourself. You are treating yourself so harsh. So don't treat yourself harshly. Be compassionate to yourself. So practicing love and compassion not only help you to experience great peace, but you will trigger a subtle transformation in other person, right? So when someone criticizes, accuse you, so in return, we don't criticize, we just show our empathy and love and compassion. Maybe I just compassionately listen to him, pay some attention. So that will trigger his mind. Then that will change himself. So like the Kakachupama Sutta, Buddha explained that. Kakachupama means the sutta explained that when some two person came to you and you the caught to and cut your body part by part, don't get angry. Never get angry. Instead of getting angry, Buddha says that practice compassion towards that person. So anger, there's no way it will help you. So practice compassion and the love. Aksoba Sutta also give us some insight as how to handle criticism. The sutta says that someone who, when abused, harsh and attack, abuses and harshes and attacks in return is said to eat the food and have a reaction to it. When someone offers food, the Akosa Sutta, the story, the Buddha was accused and criticized. So Buddha listened to all his criticism and abuse and all the vulgar word. Then finally Buddha asked the Brahmin, when you have a guest, do you offer food and drinks? Yes, of course I offer food and drinks. So what happened then if he deny, he will decline to accept your food. So still that food belongs to who? He said, if he deny, if he decline, that food belongs to me. Exactly at the same manner, Brahmin, I do not accept your abuse. I do not accept your criticism. So it still then belongs to who? So it still belongs to that Brahmin. So Buddha practiced the compassion and the love instead of the fighting back. So when you are harshly criticized, when you are insult, do not hate that person. Do not get angry about it, angry about him. Instead, practice loving kindness and compassion toward that person. Be honest is one of the very important things when you are handling accusation. Mostly, when you are accused, in return, we practice defensive mechanism. We try to justify ourselves. When you try to justify, when you try to defend ourselves, we'll tell a lot of lies, right? If someone found a mistake and accuse and criticizes, we don't accept it. Instead of accepting his criticism, we try to defend ourselves. What happened when we defend ourselves? We have to tell lies. One lie is not enough. We have to keep telling lies. So what happened then we keep telling lies? We normally forget the first lie we said. So Buddha says that stop telling lies, accept it, be truthful. And even Buddha says that there was not and there will be not, and the present there is not found a person totally blameworthy and totally praiseworthy. So doing mistake is very general thing, very human thing. If the mistake has been done by yourself, accept it. Be truthful. Be honest to yourself. This thing will start change then. There is no evil that such a person might do. Someone who deliberately lie, he can do any kind of unwholesome things. So Buddha says that don't tell lies. Be truthful. That's a beautiful saying in Sinhalese. Boru kīma manussa gatiya, samāvadīma deva gatiya. Making mistake is very human nature, but forgiving is a divine nature. So if you don't have to tell lies, if the mistake has been done by you just accept it, and then the thing start change. The conclusion, so when someone criticizes you, it is coming from their own anger, agitation, suffering, insecurities and inadequacies. So when they are attempting to transfer over to you, but you do not have to receive it like a Buddha. You can physically detach, you can mentally detach, you can compassionately, lovingly approach and inquire it. And you always have the freedom to decline the offer, like the Buddha, like the Akosa Sutta. Buddha denies criticism. So therefore, you can remain unaffected. You can maintain your peace of mind. So I think that much is enough, as the talk is already 9:10. So if you have any question, we can further discuss.
What is the Buddhist viewpoint about criticism regarding LGBT? Because it's very universal. I saw on TV, and so many, it sparks a lot of problems in society. And also in Malaysia of late. So what is the Buddhist point about this view and people criticizing this LGBT? What is the point of it from Buddhist point of view? Thank you.
You want to know what is the Buddhist point of view on the LGBT, or you want to know what is the Buddhist criticism on LGBT? Buddhism doesn't have any criticism on that one, okay? So, as are there any other criticism, so this one also the exact the same. So I mean we don't have any negative point on it. There is no such thing called the Buddhist criticism on LGBT society or some others. Okay, we don't have such thing. But what is the Buddhist point of view on LGBT? Same as the physical desire. Any kind of physical desires, Buddha says that lead to suffering. Any kind of physical desire is led by the ignorance and craving. So whatever the desires, sensation, enjoyment, which is led by the ignorance and desires, Buddhism doesn't encourage. Either it is a LGBT or any other sexual, any other thing, relationship. So these are, whatever these are, the ignorance there, and also the craving there. So they are the root cause of suffering. So Buddhism doesn't deny that. Buddhism don't reject that people. We recognize there is no way that they cannot achieve the enlightenment. They can still practice Buddhism. They can attain the spiritual attainment what other people do. Yeah, it's another kind of the enjoyment that people are enjoying, right? Same as other family life. What Buddha says about it. So that's my idea. That's what I think actually. Yeah. Even in the husband and wife, if was too much attached, and too much about that sexual life and in the desires about it, Buddha says that it will lead you to suffering. Whatever the sensual pressure, Buddha didn't encourage actually. Buddhism doesn't encourage because of the craving and ignorance, and we are too much. Then after jealousy and hatred and all the other negative, unwholesome and defilements will arise. So according to the Buddhist point of view, is there a possibility that we can criticize others? What do you think? Because we have been talking, we have talked only how we handle when we are criticized. So how when we are criticizing others, does Buddhism encourage to criticize others? So feedback is something else. So that is why we mentally detach and pause ourselves. So sometimes that criticism is the positive one, the constructive one. So if we are affected by his criticism, if we have the ego, I didn't talk about it. So it's something that we should talk when we have this topic actually. So when we have the egocentric, we also have the ego. So even the criticism is the constructive, positive. So we don't take it as the feedback. That's the danger actually. Yeah, very, very nice thing. Whether it's in a situation when you are ready to receive something. But Buddhism says that there is a very beautiful sutta in the Anguttara Nikaya, talk about the 10 factors, 10 things we should check ourselves. We have it before we give the comment or criticize something. The first one, is my bodily action is pure? Is my verbal action is pure? And I'm mentally pure? And I'm going to criticize, I'm going to give the feedback with the love and compassion. So we have to, and we have learned enough, and we have understand enough the Dhamma. So these 5 things. Is Buddha says not enough. There's another 5 things. The whatever we are going to say is the truth. And you are going to say in the proper time. So there are 10 things we should practice ourselves before we going to criticize something. So make sure that even though it is true, we are going to say it in the right moment, right time. Because those who criticize us, and when we criticize others, we don't know whole picture. We know only partially, right? Nobody knows about us completely. Those who criticize us also see in the partially, only one part of ourselves. So Buddha says that, make sure that whatever you are going to say, it's the truth. Even though it is true, find the right time to talk about it. Tell him. And don't make it in public. It's better to do in private. If it's negatively, it's something about negative.
Bhante, I think our topic today on criticism is like level 1 criticism. But back to your story just now where the lady was paid by the Brahmins. What if the same case happened to us and they will not stop because if there's no reaction from you, they won't get paid? So they will continue. The more silent you become, the more agitated they get, and they get more and more violent. So how do you handle it when criticism leads to the next stage where you get threatened already?
I think that the more silent we become, the more agitated we will say something, right? I think it's other way around. If someone approached us, he was angry and he started criticizing us, he started blaming and insulting us. If we don't criticize him back, we keep quiet and silently receiving whatever he said and practicing with metta and loving kindness and sympathy towards that person, because we know that he has a lot of suffering, that is why he come and that accusation is not true. So we keep quiet. Do you think he continue it? Or he just say something, stay there for a while and leave back? I think he'll stop it.
Back to your story just now where the lady is paid by the Brahmin. So if he needs a reaction from you so that he can give it to the person who has already paid him. And probably he has already used up the money and he cannot pay back if he doesn't get a response from you. So how do you handle this type of professional criticism?
Last part, sorry, I didn't get it, the last part. Who paid to whom and who gave something?
Okay, actually, let's say someone continuously criticize you because he wants a reaction from you so that he can feedback to the person. And he's paid to do that. Okay, professional, paid to do that. And he has already been paid. So if there's no response from you, of course, after a period of time, he will have to feedback to the person who pay him, right? And if there's no response, then they'll say, okay, I pay you already. So how now? Then he will be the one in trouble. So he has to get a response. So if the more silent you get, you will agitate him more and more because he needs a response to feedback he's already been paid. So it will lead to threatening already. So now you are being threatened. So how do you handle it? Because being silent alone has lead to threatening. So it's the next stage already now. Yeah.
So the other part of the story is the Buddha kept silent, didn't engage physically, let the things matter goes like that. So later on people realize what is true. The Brahmin really did it. So instead of getting, they did it to get the more support, get their support back. What happened to them, then more and more people came to the Buddha. And even some Brahmin who were engaged in that situation, they approached the Buddha and asked forgiveness. That's what happened. Even nowadays, if something happened like that, there's some other way we can do this. Keep receiving, keep happening this thing. There's a police we can do. We can complain, right? We can say to the police. It's not that something that we are angrily react. So if we find the danger, maybe we can talk to him, not just keep quiet. As Buddha says, and Buddha how react to the other sutta, we can approach him and we can ask questions. We're not in the angry mind. When we are clear and calm mind, why you are doing that one? Why you are doing this and that? What's the motive behind? We can explain to that person, right?
Good evening, Bhante. So I think for the criticism, there are many examples of the so-called by ignoring it, like the example, maybe the Buddhists ignoring a lot of people that asking unbeneficial question and so on. So is this one of the way that encourage or what do you think about it?
You mean the 10 unanswered question? Just keep silent, right? The ignorance mean. The some question when Buddha was asked, Buddha didn't respond, just keep quiet silent, maintain silence, right?
Yeah, this can be one of them or the group of them, but there are some time like the people asking that's how to say the not useful like the so-called the person that asking that's not beneficial question, and then also sometimes the Buddhists don't want to answer or just ignore or even to the level like not bothering that kind of people.
Yeah. So back to his question again. So that one also only one example. The depending on the situation, Buddha's reaction was different. So in that Sundari's case, Buddha physically detached and lets things to goes on. And let's see what happened then. And let people to realize what is true. And in other case, Buddha still practiced compassion. Still he was calm. And with loving kindness and compassion, he approached the who criticized and questioned. Why you are criticizing? Do you know what you are saying? Buddha questioned. And another time, even Buddha was criticized, he approached that Brahmin, says that the example, the metaphor about the food, that let that person to realize what he's saying. So different when the Buddha was criticized, the different situation, Buddha's reaction was different. So when we experience the different ways of criticism, so we have to then we can apply that different type of Buddhist teaching when you face criticism. Most importantly, Buddha says that be towards your own self. Reflect, force means be mindful and create a gap and reflect your own feeling. That then you will not get angry. You have more clarity of mind to react to that other person's criticism. So what is then most important is protect your peace of mind and your freedom. And don't get angry. Your angry response does not benefit actually. It creates a lot of problem. For example, if the criticism is a feedback, you get angry. So what happened then? The opportunity to continue the conversation is closed. Then opportunity to learn, change and grow will stop. So it's criticism is false, so true. Don't get angry in any situation. Be calm and cool. Pause and reflect.
Bhante, what if we have learned how to deal with ourselves in terms of handling criticism, and it comes to the point where it's borderline...
Sorry, sister, the first one. Say
Sorry?
it again. Sorry, I didn't get it.
Okay. What if we have managed to control...
What is behind?
We manage to control
Oh.
ourselves, and then it comes to a point where it's borderline slander, and it has to be dealt with immediately and by voice. Because a lot of people, let's say it is in a public situation now, and you don't have the time, the luxury of time to wait for the truth to be uncovered or for people to realize. You have to deal with it then. So like companies, for example, they have corporate comms to deal with this kind of criticism, right, in public. And then court cases where it's very serious, they bring evidence, they drag on, they have a forum to decide on it. But what if I have to deal with it myself in a public situation right there and then, and it's a reputational risk involved? It has to be voice against voice. How should I then, assuming I've dealt with myself, that is the key, right? This whole topic is...
If the criticism is right,
Sorry?
if the criticism is true...
No, it's a slander.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I still have to be professional about it in a public scenario, because if I miss that opportunity to do it, then people will go back thinking, oh, and then she's bad, and then I missed that opportunity in that window of time. So this is a very shallow situation, but unfortunately, sometimes we have to deal with this kind of things. Thank you.
Yeah. So if the falsely accuse, or if we criticize for something that we have not done, we have not done. So how to handle, right? How to face the situation. So as you said that we cannot keep quiet, right? We have to respond. So we have to respond. So again, according to Buddhism, do not get angry. We have to be very mindful. And that mindfulness doesn't come immediately actually. The habitual pattern when you encounter that kind of situation is we immediately get angry and respond, and we shouted, I didn't do that one. And we try to prove ourselves. So Buddha says that actually we don't have to prove ourselves if we have not done something wrong. Right? We don't have to say our back story. You keep quiet, keep calm, and not get angry. Then the calm and clarity mind allow you to put a good question. Let other person understand. You can put forward the good question to show that, to indicate that in this case you are right. You haven't done such thing. But if you are angry, you lose that opportunity. Yes, Honorable, you can go.
What really impressed me, this steward, he was quiet, and he just was standing there, and you could feel he was composed, while the other were really shouting at him and very, very badly. And I was so impressed with the behavior of this quiet man. I was thinking, wow, he's so composed. Would I be that composed? So actually he won. You know what I mean? He won just by being quiet, by not giving, as you say, stay with you and don't shout back. I think everybody, I could feel the people, they were all shock frozen, but I think everybody was impressed by this collectiveness. Yeah.
So you have to trust yourself, trust that you haven't done such thing bad, right? So you have that trust, that confidence with yourself. So then let other people will feel it, as Venerable says.
Thank you, Bhante, for the teachings. Just now from the story, we also see how Buddha, the mindfulness is like a gatekeeper. I think that is how Buddha is teaching us to set boundaries. Yeah, and sometimes for people who just is learning to set boundaries, at times it feels like, what's the difference if I set boundaries? Am I being selfish? What is the...
Making boundaries and...
Selfishness. Am I being like, let's say this person come to criticize me, but the function of him coming to criticize is actually want to solve a problem. But maybe he doesn't know how to communicate properly. He comes to you and then want to ask for a fight. But it's actually wanting to solve a problem. But then, on our side, staying calm, we can actually see whether is this coming to solve a problem or is this just lashing out of emotions. And we also are learning how to set boundaries as well. But sometimes it's like, it's a fight within me. It's like, it is his problem that he has to learn to solve on his own. But at the same time, I was like, nah, sometimes you can maybe help. And also the boundaries of like, when is it, like, what is your stand on like, setting boundaries versus selfishness? Like,
Yeah, setting boundaries when someone approach us and they want to solve the problem, but they don't know how to communicate friendly. They don't know how to communicate with us friendly, calmly. So they only know how to express the emotion and feeling. So your question is, setting boundaries is a selfishness or something? They feel it. So we are not the Buddha, right? So we are not the Buddha. So we cannot imitate the Buddha as well. So rather we should understand our limit first, the limitation, when we engage in such situation, when you want to solve the problem. So within that our limitation, if someone criticizes us, so we are not actually being selfish. So we should understand if you feel that person really want to solve the problem, but he doesn't know how to talk at all. So it means that he's kind of suffering. He's not clear about his mind. So here then, we have to attend him with compassion and love. Let him feel that we are listening, we are attending to him. Let him feel that even though he criticizes, he expresses the emotions, so we let him feel that we are there. If it is a family member, very close one, and in your case, I think it's someone very close, so we cannot just simply forget and go and ignore it. The very close one. So we just let him know that we are there, we are with you, and let him cool down, calm down, and then we can start the dialogue, and we can then continue the discussion, the conversation. In any situation, don't get angry, don't take it as very personal. If you take it as very personal, it means you are already affected his accusation. So you yourself not only clear. So if you are not only clear, if you are start suffering, you cannot help that person. How you can help that person to get rid of his suffering? First, make sure that you are not affected by his accusation, his criticism. And check yourself and be calm and have kind of the clarity of mind, and you can question the accusation. Has his criticism is a false one? You can question, you can ask about it. The further clarification, further more details you can ask about it. So don't feel that it's kind of being the practice selfish, because we should know our own boundaries. Let's transfer merit with our departed one from your father's side, mother's side, and all your departed relatives, friends, teachers, including particularly our late chief, Dr. Kresi Dhammananda. May all other departed relatives, devotees, receive this merit. Having enjoyed this merit, they may be well, happy and peaceful, and they will finally attain bliss of Nibbana. With that thought, say sadhu 3 times. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. And also, may you be blessed with good health, happiness, and peaceful life. And may you have very smooth samsaric journey towards bliss of Nibbana. With that thought, we say sadhu 3 times to rejoice the merit. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. And thank you so much, Venerables and our nun and dear Dhamma friends. So thank you so much for coming this evening and listening to Dhamma. And may you have the very peaceful weekend. Okay, thank you so much and a good night.